Arnold Hamilton Maloney, Trinidadian pharmacologist and physician. Born 1888, died 1955. Arnold Hamilton Maloney hailed from the island of Trinidad and had humble beginnings. After coming to the United States to complete his education, he became the second black person to obtain both an MD and a PhD in the United States, and went on to become the first black professor of pharmacology. However, Maloney was first a minister, and at one point he was the youngest ordained priest in the Episcopal Church. He was later a bishop in the African Orthodox Church, but eventually left church ministry to pursue a career in medicine. He is best known for discovering an antidote for barbiturate poisoning. Arnold Hamilton Maloney was born on July 4, 1888, in Koyi Village, Trinidad, British West Indies. He was the oldest of the 10 children born to Louis Albert Maloney and Estelle Evetta Bonas Maloney. His father was a building contractor and owned a number of grocery stores, which his mother helped to run, while also teaching needlework. Maloney greatly respected his father, describing him in his book on race leadership as, quote, a race champion who fought right nobly and well in his day, unquote. Maloney shared great aptitude for learning and won numerous awards as a student. He also revealed a flair for writing and speaking, both of which he actively pursued throughout his life. The first degree Maloney obtained was a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1909 from Naparima College in Trinidad, which was affiliated with Cambridge University in England. He had planned to run a drugstore, but a letter from an uncle in the United States changed his plans. His uncle suggested there were better opportunities in the United States, and Maloney emigrated in 1909. His early experiences did not live up to his expectations. A friend suggested he enroll in Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, which he did for a year. While there, his speaking skills were noted, and he was encouraged to become a pastor. He left Lincoln to attend General Theological Seminary in New York. The General Theological Seminary had a reciprocal agreement with Columbia University, from which Maloney obtained a master's degree, majoring in philosophy in 1910. He was ordained a priest in the Episcopal Church in 1911, the youngest priest in that church at the time. He was a pastor of a church in Annapolis, Maryland, and completed his Bachelor of Science in Theology degree from General Theological Seminary in 1912. He became pastor of another church in Syracuse, New York, from 1915 to 1917, and considering leaving the ministry for a career in the forestry service. During his time, Maloney married Beatrice Pocahontas Johnston, who had grown up in Louisville, Kentucky. Together, they had one daughter, Beatrice Louise, and one son, Arnold H. Maloney, Jr., who later became a physician. Despite his misgivings, Maloney remained a pastor and moved to Indianapolis, Indiana. However, relations with his authorities were strained, and he resigned his position in the church. A friend invited him to join the African Orthodox Church, and he eventually became a bishop in that church. Again, relations became strained, however, and Maloney left church ministry completely in 1920. Maloney's next position was a professor of psychology at Wilberforce University, Ohio, from 1920 to 1925. He enjoyed teaching very much and decided to pursue his own education further. He entered medical school at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, Indiana. During this time, he wrote a regular newspaper column, quote, the Indianapolis Negro, unquote, for the Indianapolis Recorder. He graduated with his MD degree in 1929. After graduating, Maloney began an internship in Providence Hospital, Baltimore, Maryland. At the time, however, Howard University in Washington, D.C. was actively recruiting well-trained physicians for its medical school. Maloney was asked to join the faculty, but before starting to teach, he was given a fellowship to enter the graduate program in pharmacology at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. His research focused on how drugs like morphine act to either stimulate or depress breathing by acting on certain parts of the brain. He obtained his Ph.D. in 1931 along with Joseph L. Johnson. Maloney and Johnson were jointly the second and third blacks to obtain both an M.D. and Ph.D. degrees in the United States. Together, they joined faculty at Howard University, with Johnson becoming head of the Department of Physiology, and Maloney head of the Department of Pharmacology. Maloney thus became the first black professor of pharmacology in the United States. Maloney served on the faculty at Howard University from 1931 to 1953. In addition to teaching and administration, he continued his research into the effects of various drugs on breathing. His most notable discovery related to the use of barbiturates. These drugs are used as sedatives, but overdoses can depress breathing to such an extent that they can cause death. Maloney discovered that picrotoxin, a compound obtained from the seeds of a particular scrub, Anamerta coculus, can reverse these effects and protect animals and humans from barbiturate poisoning. While Maloney is most widely remembered for his picrotoxin discovery, he also published over 50 other scientific articles. He was awarded honorary degrees from Morris Brown University in Atlanta, Georgia in 1918 and Wilberforce University in 1937. He was actively involved in various scientific and medical organizations, such as the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the New York Academy of Sciences, and the National Medical Association. He has also made contributions in other fields. His list of books include one on Christian ethics, one on leadership on race issues within the church, and one on democracy, written with his brother and son. Maloney died in Washington, D.C. on August 8, 1955. Citations are in the description.